I like you both, but can you be used to layer fragrances? I'm a bit worried about this one. So yes, good morning, and it is very, very early again because it's my late work shift, so I want to get out early to do a run, 6:15. What am I doing today? Well, I'm going to do another layering video, and yeah, this one I'm really, really worried about. Essentially, I've got two very, very different things here, but they're of course food products again. One is Tabasco. If you don't know Tabasco, it's like a spicy, pepper sauce, and this is a hot pepper sauce. So probably going to burn my nostrils and maybe my arm when I rub it on. So that's the first one, but that should be easy to apply. And then this one here, yeast extract. If you don't know what this is, if you know Marmite, it's essentially just a cheap version of Marmite. It's got this balsamic type sort of smell to it. Some people love it, some people hate it. Thankfully, I love it, but I'm not sure I'm going to love it being rubbed on my arm. But it's very sort of thick and waxy, a little bit more like a peanut butter, petroleum jelly type vibe. But you don't really want to. Actually, I do like that smell at this time of the morning. Marmite on toast, I absolutely love. So basically, what I'm going to do today, I've got a cheap fragrance from Marks and Spencer's, the other one called Black Pepper. Essentially, it just smells like a body spray. You can smell it for the first sort of 5 minutes, but after that, it completely dries down and goes. And yeah, the performance really is poor on it, even though I quite like the smell. Very masculine, easy to wear scent. Um, so yeah, what I'm basically going to do, I'm going to apply these first today. So both of these I'm going to put on in a minute. I'm going to go get some bits ready for work now. I'm going to apply the fragrance a little bit later on. Essentially what I want to see today, do these affect they improve the performance of the fragrance? Will it bring out a bit more of the pepper? Of course, this is a very spicy pepper. Maybe that'll help bring out the pepperiness from the fragrance. And this is very balsamic. Will it add a bit more depth and darkness to the fragrance? And will it ultimately just change the smell? So improve performance, change the smell, and yeah, we'll see how well they mix essentially with the fragrance. So time to apply. Okay, so we'll put the Tabasco on first. Now thankfully with this sort of thing, because it's so spicy, they only give you a very small lid and it essentially just comes out in droplets. Wow, it's much redder than I remember. Don't know if you can see that. Yeah, looks like blood, doesn't it? Wow, that burns your nostrils if you smell it too close. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly rub that in. What am I doing? This time in the morning, the last thing you want is this spiciness. But it's very sort of runny. It's nothing too thick. Oh, that's strong. I just think of that on like a piece of chicken. I like it on jacket potato. Oh, that's horrible. Right, just going to give that a little dab. There we go. You can see, look how red it is. Yeah, that doesn't smell good on your arm, I must admit. That smells just wrong. Anyway, that is applied. And then this one, it's only me that uses this, by the way. My mum doesn't like this. She thinks it doesn't smell like normal Marmite. But you can see, look, thick, runny, gloopy. I'm just going to put the tissue underneath. Just dab a bit off because I've got loads there, haven't I? And then we'll apply it to this arm. Oh, feels like a dirty protest again. That one smells a lot nicer. It's much, much saltier, but that is so sticky and so horrible. So I've got to be a little bit careful when I take clothes off with this one. That's very pleasant though. I actually don't mind that smell. Some balsamic fragrances I'm not a huge fan of. I'm not saying this is going to work at all, but I feel that that's definitely going to make the fragrance stick to it more than this one, which is just, whoa. Oh, that's just not the smell you want at 6 in the morning. Anyway, let's go get myself ready, and then yeah, I'll go talk about the fragrance upstairs and start applying that one as well. Okay, so I'm in my running gear, ready to go. Thankfully, it's not raining at the minute. Can you hear the birds though? It's so loud already. So this is the fragrance I was mentioning, Black Pepper. Essentially, it only gives you 3 notes per Marks and Spencer, so I don't need to look at my phone for this one. Black Pepper obviously being the top note. They don't really give anything about the heart. If you look at the Marks and Spencer sprays, they only give you 3 notes, and the other 2 here is vanilla and amber. Now with this, black pepper's dominant, and what I think the other 2 notes do, I think the vanilla is added this like creaminess, so it's not a sharp fresh spice, it's not like overpowering, burn your nostrils. It does have that warm spicy feel to it because of the vanilla, and I think the amber just kind of binds it all together. It's almost like a hug around the fragrance, and it just kind of gives off this boy men body spray type vibe. Cheap sort of smell, but easy to pull off. I'm going to spray the original fragrance just under my wrist. just on the inside of my arm here. Then I'm going to spray the fragrance above the Tabasco here, and then we're going to apply it over the Marmite as well. And essentially what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a run again. So if you haven't seen these videos, essentially I'm going to do about a 12-mile run, hopefully, 3 checkpoints. So I'll do sort of half an hour's, and every time I'll just sort of give you an update. Is the original fragrance the strongest without any layering? Is the Tabasco the strongest, or is it the Marmite the strongest? And just see how they change. And then by the end of my workout today, I'll give my overall thoughts. That'll be about sort of 2.5, 3 hours time. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, a couple more bits to get ready, do some stretching, and then I'll just tell you before I go for my run how these fragrances smell. Let it sort of sit. That Marmite's really kicking up. I can smell it already. Time to give my initial impressions of the layering. Has it worked? So just smell the original. Okay, yep, very pleasant, quite strong at the moment. So this has got a really strong opening. Gee, that seagull. Honestly, 6 in the morning. Right, let's go for the Tabasco first. I'll tell you what, this is kind of, look, they're not blended particularly well here, but what's quite nice is I can detect both sort of notes here. I can detect the Tabasco and I can detect the fragrance. With the last one where I did the antibacterial hand gel, didn't really get anything, but I'm getting that black pepper from this, and then I'm getting this sort of sweet chili sauce kicking through, and it almost feels like a flanker of this one, essentially. That's what it's kind of getting from it. It's nice. Yeah, it's not horrible at all. It's like if this was quite called sweet black pepper or something, you know, I can't think of the word spicy black pepper, something along those lines. You can imagine that smell, but it does have that very foody smell, of course, because it is a real sauce. And you wouldn't get it like that in a fragrance. It's a little bit too sharp, a little bit too realistic, let's say. So let's go for the Marmite one, which honestly, the minute I applied the fragrance, wow, did it kick up. I think it sort of made it wet again, so it brought it back out because it had dried up. Now with this one, the Marmite's just taken over. You can smell this, but about 5%. It's all mainly Marmite at the minute. That yeast extract, that balsamic sort of vibe, it's overpowering and it's not blended essentially yet. But what we'll see, of course, I'll be sweating a little bit later on. Be interesting to see if that brings it out a little bit more. Maybe sort of gets rid of that really strong vinegar balsamic type vibe to it. It might just loosen that off a little bit. That's what I'm hoping my sweat and skin chemistry, when it warms up, will. And that'll hopefully bring the fragrance back up with this yeast extract. So anyway, time to stop putting off my run. Time to get out there. We'll do 3 checkpoints on my run, and yeah, we'll talk about how it goes. Hopefully this one's going to be better than the fruit, and hopefully better than the antibacterial hand gel. Initial signs though, it looks good. It is lovely out here this morning, but it is a little bit chilly. As you can see, there's a real mist coming off the field. So let's sort of smell the fragrances then. So I'll do the original first. Tabasco. And then the Marmite. Oh wow. Okay, so the original's starting to wear off. We're kind of about an hour since I applied it now, to be honest with you. And yeah, it's certainly not there as strong. The Tabasco though has blended really well with this. Maybe because it's a little bit more watery. It's certainly soaked in with the fragrance more, and it's definitely getting a real mix. It just smells like a proper spicy kick. It's basically given the black pepper more of a kick, and obviously we said there's like vanilla in this. It's essentially taken that vanilla away and gone flat out red hot spicy. Rather than black pepper, it's like red hot spicy. Essentially, I'd probably say 60 to 70% of this is the Tabasco kicking through, and the black pepper's almost being the secondary thing here. So even though I applied the Tabasco first, the fragrance certainly is sitting behind. Let me just give that another smell. But it's not horrible, it's not overwhelming. As I said, the Tabasco's gone quite sweet. That initial really spicy sort of start, which sort of makes you choke, has definitely worn off. And it's fine. You can imagine this being a flank. There's a Montal fragrance called Red Oud, and it's kind of got that vibe, but that sort of spiciness in there. Almost like there's a cumin or, you know, a turmeric or something in it that's basically adding this extra sort of spice. It's more like that now. It's more like, you know, your spice rack sort of thing. But the Marmite, yeah, it's all Marmite. Am I getting any of that fragrance at all? Very slight vanilla, so I'm not really getting the pepper because it's quite salty anyway. And obviously salt and pepper go together. The salt from that Marmite is definitely overtaking it. This is about 85-90% of Marmite. And you're getting a tiny bit of that sweetness, whether that's the vanilla or the amber from the fragrance. It's just toning it down. So again, it's not overly strong, it's not too much, but does it smell really nice? Has it really blended? No. But so far, if I'm going for the original, the black pepper with the Tabasco, or the Marmite with the black pepper fragrance, I think Tabasco is my favourite. What a weird experiment, but I tell you what, so far this has been one of the best. We'll do another checkpoint in about half an hour. Okay then, so take two. So let's go original fragrance first. Tabasco and Marmite. Right, okay. So the original is definitely wearing off now, which I expect. It's been about an hour and a half. This is 100%. Doesn't matter if it's cold weather or what, you're going to need to reapply this one. What I'm sort of finding now is both of them, the Tabasco and the Marmite, is starting to kind of just take over. So it's not really holding the fragrance together, let's say. The fragrance isn't sticking to it and getting extra longevity, but I would say it's a Tabasco now. It's probably about 80% of that smell on my arm rather than about 60. But there's definitely still this sweetness about it, and it's not just the sweetness from that sort of pepper, it's definitely like a vanillic sort of smell, which I know obviously from eating this and having it on all my food, it's not in the ingredients. It's definitely like a vanilla aromatic type vibe, so there's something that is working there. To be honest with the Marmite, it's probably about like 90%, and again, if I'm being honest with you, if you've got someone like to go, smell this, what's that? They're not going to go, oh, it's Marmite, but there's something else in it. It's pretty much 90-95% Marmite, and I think subconsciously I'm obviously trying to see if I can find that extra 5%, which it probably is there. And again, it's not really the black pepper though, it's more that vanillic sort of vibe, maybe the heavier base notes, which you'd expect in a phrase, wouldn't you? You expect the sort of top notes to sort of ease off. So yeah, at the moment, Tabasco's definitely winning still. But if you said to me out of choice, you know, all three, what's the nicest smelling? I still go the original. I don't think the food's mixed with it too well. Still feels they're mainly competing against each other. Anyway, we've still got one more checkpoint on this run, and then we'll do an indoor test, and then I'll have a shower, and yeah, we'll just see what happens over the next few checkpoints. Getting tired now, I must admit. I want to try and do 14 miles by the end, but it's time for a final smell. We're at the sort of third checkpoint. The original, Tabasco. I don't know if you can see that. Look at the Marmite on my arm. It's just stained it. And Marmite, right. Okay, let's just smell that Tabasco one again. Right, so I can still smell the original, but you're talking about 20-30%. It's certainly the nicest, you know, it just smells as it is like a fragrance, but just like again, a top up, easy to wear, go to the shops, casual scent, very pleasant. The black pepper's certainly coming off the top and the vanilla's coming through, which probably explains why I can smell it more in the Tabasco type fragrance. But the Tabasco now, again, a much more watery sort of texture to it compared to like the Marmite. That's starting to ease off as well now, and to be honest, I'm quite glad at sort of 8 o'clock in the morning. The last thing you want is to smell of like chili peppers, and yeah, I'm not sure how much I like that vanilla with the spice. Let's be honest, spicy fragrances like this, like a food spice, sort of, I don't know, cumin and that, I don't think it goes very well with this. So yeah, not for me, but it's okay. As I said, thankfully if it was sticky like the Marmite, I don't think I'd want it at all. Whereas the Marmite, look, I think this is going to smell strong, essentially, until I wash it off. It's not going to get any weaker. The fragrance is gone in it. This is just basically, you've got Marmite on your arm now, and it's not very pleasant. It's like a wax. It feels like the sort of thing you could always peel your skin off with, and yeah, I mean, I'm not a massive fan of balsamic fragrances anyway, and for me, what I would want with this is if I was to make this one nicer, I don't know, I'd want something a bit smoky with it, maybe something like an aromat. I think this would be alright. A smoky leather complexion, I think this could work, but with that vanilla and pepper, it doesn't work, and the fragrance just isn't strong enough to cut through it. So yeah, what we'll do, we'll head back, see if there's any change when I get indoors, see if it smells any different, because obviously my nose is running, there's a bit of a breeze, and obviously I'm breathing heavily, so it can affect sometimes how it performs. The workout done, I managed to do about 14 miles, which I'm super happy with. Let's smell my arm again. So it's been about 2.5 hours. It's just gone 9:10. So that's the original Tabasco and Marmite for yeast extract. So to be honest with you, the original's pretty much worn off now. It's very faintly there, but this is about what I'd say, 2.5 hours tops you want to spray through the day. So yeah, it hasn't particularly lasted, this one. Tabasco's definitely there. It's like a very, very sweet hot pepper, but it's certainly not horrible. It's just, it's a lot lighter than it was. Again, more of a watery sort of composition, let's say, but the original fragrance, again, it hasn't survived with it. That's also worn off with it. So yeah, where the fragrance doesn't last very well, Tabasco hasn't held it anymore. And the Marmite, you know, now I've stopped, I can smell a bit of that fragrance again, but you have to go and breathe in really hard like that to get a smell of it. But it's definitely there, and the Marmite has certainly held the fragrance more, as I'd expect. It's become very sticky now. It's almost like glue, to be honest with you, like a real wax. But it is definitely still there, but I have to say, it's not the most pleasant smell. So yeah, going to have a shower, and then we'll see what I can smell after that. So we've had a shower. It's just gone 10 o'clock, so 3 and a bit hours now since I had the fragrance essentially applied with the layering. So let's go for the original again. I've not put anything on since. Right, the original has gone. It's completely gone, not even 5%, 0%, completely nothing. I'll have to reapply that in a bit. Actually, I don't really want to wear that one to work today, because that isn't going to last a long shift, is it, when I'm home at 10 o'clock? Tabasco, 5%. It is there, which is pretty impressive, because I really did wash my arms off today. But it's certainly gone, you know, it's not there in the same way, but there's a slight sweetness. No fragrance though, just the Tabasco. Not 100%. I really want that smell on me at this time of day. And the Marmite's completely worn off. And I think, to be honest, yeast extract, Marmite, whatever you want to call it, it's much more waxy, much more dry. So it doesn't sort of soak into your skin in the same way. It just dries and crisps on the top of your arm. And while I think it would catch a stronger fragrance, the fragrance today wasn't strong enough for it to make a big difference. That is too strong a substance. So my phone decided to do an update, literally as I was talking, and maybe it just got bored of what I was saying. So overall, yeah, I didn't think the Marmite worked the best. Original's gone. So I'm actually going to say the overall winner today, and it did okay, was Tabasco. Now look at the pros of it, okay? So it's still there, first of all, now after 3.5 hours. It wasn't really it wasn't uncomfortable on my skin. It wasn't too heavy. You could easily apply it to your skin because it was like coming out like a drip. And it just never felt sticky or staining or anything like that at all. It wasn't like really, you know, red when it looked at it, but once you rubbed it on, it was fine. And yes, it did hold that fragrance just that tiny bit more. But of course, it was stronger than the fragrance itself. And eventually, you know, it overpowered it. But it did feel, where it soaks into your skin more because it's more watery, it certainly lasted better. It certainly absorbed better. And then it blended better with the fragrance. So I'm actually quite impressed with the Tabasco. I thought it was going to be too much. Yes, it's not really the smell anyone would want. But I've had a lot worse, and I've certainly rubbed worse things during these layering videos on my arm. So if you wanted to try Tabasco sauce, it's obviously got those spicy notes. If you like a spicy thing, if you just want a little bit of spice for a few more hours in the evening at times, then go for it. But do I really recommend it still? No, to be honest, still apply your fragrance. Just keep topping it up. And if it's not for you, it's not strong enough, then of course you'll have to get a different one. But look, this is a £10 fragrance. I don't expect it to last. You get what you pay for. And look, to be honest, reapplying is always going to be the best thing in this case. You know, if someone had, if Tabasco was something that was really good with layering fresh, I think it would have been found out by now. But of course, I did it for a bit of fun, a bit of an experiment, and that it worked to a degree. It did its job, and I've had, as I said, a lot worse. So yes, what I think next time, we're going to try sort of powders next time, or we're going to go to the spice rack again, but we're going to look at the herbs this time. So we might look at fennel or anything like that that's in fragrances, popular ones that are in fragrances, because there's quite a lot, oregano being another one. And we'll see how that gets on, because you never know. Can coriander project some of those fragrances with coriander in? So I'll look at some of the fragrances I've got that maybe have those notes, and we can just see if it uplifts it a little bit. So that's going to be our next video, and hopefully you'll join me for that one soon. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Better get ready now. Catch you later.